this live, but we'll see. Just kind of relaxing right now. It's a peaceful day. So I typically don't do sitting lives, but today will be a little different. I might need to go check on the sheep. They keep making noise, but I don't know what it is, what's going on. But let me set up the tripod and yeah, get my charger hooked up. My phone is battery is kind of low. I may light a little bonfire later. I'm not sure. We might need to burn some brush in a different area. Set the camera up. You see, trying to get the pond in the background. A little irrigation pond. Hey Liz, I see Liz Pope is on here. So we got 6 people watching, 7 people. So we got 2 likes. See, see if I can tilt it. Yeah, hopefully everybody can hear me pretty good. It's kind of relaxing. It's gonna be more of a try to be more engaging if people have questions and stuff like that. But yeah, we might be lighting a bonfire later. I'm not sure. I don't know. We need to burn some stuff, and the ground is moist, so it might be a good day to do it. It's just kind of windy, so I don't know. But yeah, if y'all can hear the birds, see the irrigation pond. So trying to figure out what to do with the pond, because it may evaporate. So I don't know if I should pump the water out or what, but we'll see. So hi, big hat. How are you and Nay? Doing pretty good. Nay's working on a video right now, so she might come out here later. I don't know. She might not. I don't know how long I'm gonna do live. I'm gonna just test it out, kind of experimenting with different lives, trying to get a good angles, trying to get Blue in the background. He likes it by the pond. It's pretty cool back here. It's shaded right now, so the sun is starting to go. Yeah, so we got 12 people. Remember to hit the like button if y'all enjoy watching. I don't know if we got new viewers or mostly subscribers, but see if I can. Yeah. See Lois say hello, Zane. Hello, everybody watching. We appreciate you for tuning in. Try to make this live more engaging. I'm just kind of experiment different stuff since it's a Saturday. The weather's getting kind of nice right now. It's shaded, so see if I can turn it right there. And so I see somebody said, "Do you guys deal with a lot of mosquitoes on your property?" Not really right now, but we might. There's a mosquito earlier, but there's not really too many right now. But it just now really started warming up, so I've seen some. It's mostly like if you go certain areas, like around the creek or different areas, but it's mostly ticks more than mosquitoes with all the trees and the wildlife. There's a lot of wildlife, and the wildlife carry ticks on them, so they thrive. I see Charles Pugh said, "What up, bro? Me and my wife love your videos. Keep up the good work." Yeah, we appreciate y'all for watching. Charles is always tuning in. So you see Blue over there. Blue, what you doing, boy? Yeah, the sun is kind of weird, but yeah, I might try to plant some more stuff later. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff we got to do, but it's gonna try to live. Let me hit the chat. But yeah, we may be lighting a little fire if the wind dies down. It's kind of windy right now, which may not really be that bad because it'll probably burn up pretty quick. But hey Lisa, I see Lisa is on. So we got 19 people watching. So appreciate everybody for watching. If you're new here, this is our channel, ZA. We're on the Humble Harvest Homestead. And so we've been living off grid for, I think, like a year and a half. And so we're off public utility. We're off the grid, off of public utilities. So pretty much we provide our own water and electricity. And we don't use gas. We use firewood for our heating. And so we try to do things in a more sustainable way. See, Charles said, have you thought about planting a moringa tree? He said, can you plant a good health benefit trees? I never thought about it. I don't know what, I really don't know too much about moringa. I don't know if they're like, really what kind of climate they grow in. Good, I know some people grow them. But I don't really know too much about the benefits, the health benefits and stuff. I know there's like moringa oil, people use the oils for stuff, but yeah, I don't really know. I never thought about it though. We've been planting mulberry trees, some pine trees, and we got some other trees we think about planting, but moringa might be one. Depending on what kind of climate it is, I don't know. But we try to plant mostly native trees, trees that are already adapted to this area. But we may have some other things mixed in. So I don't know if y'all hear the frogs. I think the frogs help. The frogs, they help with the mosquitoes. Because right now it's a lot of frogs. And so any small puddle that there is on the land where a mosquito might lay their eggs, the frogs are laying tadpoles. And the tadpoles eat mosquitoes. And so I think that helps, at least around certain areas where there's shallow water. The frogs lay their tadpoles in the shallow areas. So somebody said, did you find a water source on your property? There's a shallow well, and so we got to see how much water is in it. But I'm thinking it may be a decent amount of water. So that'll be one source. We also have a creek, which may be fed by some springs, but I don't know. But there's different water sources throughout the land, but the closest one is going to be the well, and that may be one of the best ones to use for the house. But the creek will probably always use that, and the pond for irrigation. So I dug this pond out maybe a month ago, I can't remember, and it filled up pretty quick. Like, it was pretty low, and I was planting some stuff, and it was raining, and I came back, and the pond was full, as it is now. Like, and so it'll drop a little bit, or it may dry out as it evaporates. But yeah, I got to shape the dam. The dam is really high up right now, so it looks lower. But the dam, over time, as it rains more, and as I kind of drive equipment over it, it's gonna get compacted down. And so it'll be flatter, it'll be more compacted, which will hold the water better. It'll be stronger, but it won't be as high up. So it's gonna look better over time. It takes time for a pond to be fully developed, because right now it's just dirt. And but over time, we're gonna put topsoil and compost, things like that on it. And we may plant something, or we may just let the grass naturally grow. But eventually it'll be fully covered with vegetation. If you see, there's a cedar tree on this side. The cedar tree helps keep it shaded, and it gets a little bit of shade. It gets a little bit of shade. I'm trying to hear for the sheep. The sheep are on a different side of the property, so I might have to go check on them. They keep making noise. I don't know if one of the lambs might have got out. I don't know. They make noise and then they stop, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, let's see. But yeah, I see Charles said he grows them in Pensacola, Florida. So yeah, it might be a little more tropical. Lisa said, don't forget to put the baby powder around the pond to keep the snakes away. We may need to try it. Yeah, depending on what kind of snakes we have out here. We were thinking about the snakes. If we got the water clean, I'd maybe swim in it. It's pretty cool. Um, I can't remember how deep it is, but it may be about like chest high, or I know it's at least waist high. But right now it's just irrigation. It's a little irrigation. It's really a retention pond, which is just a pond that holds water, and it's more than likely going to be more of a temporary pond, almost like a wetland. But we'll see. We'll really see. But I'm sure it's going to probably dry up at some point in the summer. But for now, we definitely can use it for irrigation. And even in the summertime, it may dry out, but then in the fall, it can refill back up. All it takes is really one good rain, and it'll fill up. Because it comes along the driveway, we got drainage trenches along the driveway that comes through, and it goes into there. I'm gonna eventually build another pond. Can't really tell, but down there, it slopes downward. It just keeps going down. So I'm gonna build another pond down there, and that one should be able to fill up too. And I'll just keep building cascading ponds, which will help hold the water and filter out the sediment and stuff. So the water, hopefully over time, it won't be as muddy, but it'll just be a process for really having vegetation and grass on it. He said you can grow them in Arizona and Oklahoma. I see your pond behind you is coming along. Yeah. You said around 5 feet when you're in the center of it. Yeah, it's probably about 5 feet. It's a pretty good size. When you reach into it, it's really cool. The water, when it's warm on top when the sun is on it, but when you reach deeper into the water, it feels nice. So it makes you want to get in it, but I'm not gonna get in it. At least not now until we get it filtered and stuff. I might think about it, but we'll see. We'll have to manage the runoff to make sure it's good to get in it. But the water so far has seemed pretty good. I've reached my arm into it, pulling out water out of it. I think Blue drinks out of it. But you see, Blue, he likes the pond. He lays by the pond. But they said, "Where's Nay?" Nay's she might can hear me through the window, but she's working on a video right now. So I don't know when she'll get done with it, but we may be able to upload it tomorrow or the day after or something. But yeah, she's working on a video. Let's see, but yeah, she may come out here. I don't know if she'll come out here or not. Probably not, but depending on how much she gets done, she might. I might try to plant some more stuff. But yeah, I don't know if anybody's got questions as far as like living off the grid or anything just about our lifestyle. But just trying to make the live more engaging. It's kind of more of a relaxing live. Usually we're working. When we're working, we film, or when we film, we're working, and so people don't really see everything. You'll see us. See Beverly said, "Hey," but usually people see us working, and so that's all you really see. That's the which I mean, it seems like that's all we do really, but there's a lot of other things too. Other stuff. We're not always farming, not always planting, dealing with animals, but it is a big part of our lifestyle. But that's mostly what we show. We don't really show like our typical daily life as much. Like you only really see snippets. So yeah, people really don't know what it's really like a lot of the time. But yeah, I don't know how to keep the chat on. There might be a way to keep it on, but it disappears. I appreciate everybody for watching. I see we got 41 people watching. Remember to hit the like button if y'all enjoy watching. Support us, support our channel. Let YouTube know you like our channel. But yeah, Blue's been knocked out all day because it's been so hot. But he's starting to wake up now as the sun going down. You say, are you gonna expand the trailer to make it larger, or out? Or out you going to build? Or are you gonna build detached spaces? I don't know what you mean by the trailer. The trailer or the lean-to. We want to have several buildings, different buildings over time. So like the first building, the second building I'll probably build would be, well, for one, I need to build a barn, and then it'll be kind of one main building, but it'll be a barn at first, and then I'd like to build a shop onto it. And so that'll be connected to the pen. I got to move the pen and all that stuff, so that's gonna be that'll have to come first. But we'd like to put a barn and build a horse stall where we can put Coco and kind of keep her contained a lot of the times, and also to help train her to having a certain area that she goes to, especially when we're putting the bridle and the saddles and stuff on her. It'll be a lot easier. But also the sheep, mainly in the winter time or when it's storming, when it's raining a lot, we need somewhere to put them so they're not getting soaked, especially when it's cold. If they get wet and cold, that can really mess them up. But other than that, they're going to be mostly free roaming, grazing, like they are now. They're in the cedar tree area, grazing that area, managing it. But I'd like to build the barn first, and most of the structures I build will probably be kind of like a lean-to type structure. But it's going to be the barn, and then I'd like to put a shop connected to it. And I don't know exactly how that'll be. It may be kind of an open type shop, at least starting out. And I want to build all this probably out of the cedar logs. So as the sheep are managing the cedar area, the areas that they graze, it's going to be easier for me to get in there and cut the trees. And I'll start cutting some of the cedar trees down. And I'm going to have to haul them all the way over here. So I'm going to have to use the excavator, or maybe see if I can get the truck back in there. Because the cedar wood is really good to build with. And we have some bigger ones over in the cedar area, but it's on a different part of the property, so it's way past. You got to cross the creek, and then you got to go. It's pretty much the other end of the property, and we have 30 acres, so it's a journey. Especially when you're hauling wood logs and stuff like that. It's a lot of work because those logs are hundreds of pounds. But it's nice we have the excavator. So I'm gonna see if I can use that to bring them. I've got a few over here, but I need bigger ones to build a good sized barn. Like a horse stall needs to be at least like probably minimum of like 9 to 10 feet tall, because horses are so tall, and Coco, she doesn't like going into a short structure, which most horses don't. They're claustrophobic, so she needs a tall, big building. Um, and so the cedar logs, the cedar logs themselves will have to be at least 10 feet above the ground. It's gonna have to be at least like 3 to 4 feet below the ground. So I'm gonna have to cut down a tree that's at least like gonna be at least 13 to 15 feet tall to be able to build the types of structures that I want to build. So unless I buy all the posts, which I don't want to do because I can make the posts. But the lean-to is a little bit easier because it's not as tall. The barn is going to be a lot more work. It's going to be harder getting the posts in the ground. I'll probably have to use the excavator to help me get it in the ground. And yeah, I'm going to have to dig some deep holes. But if I can get the stall at least 10 feet tall, I want it to be probably around 10 feet tall for Coco. I can build a lean-to off of it for the sheep, and it doesn't have to be as tall, probably more like 7 to 8 feet tall for the sheep on the low end. And eventually I can just keep on adding to it. The way it's going to be built, I can just keep adding to it like a I don't know what you call it, but it's going to be like an open type design. But this would be way down the line. I mean, probably like maybe even next year type project. once we have other developments done. But it's a process being able to process your wood and build stuff with it. Um, let's see, Chad. But that'll be the first type of structure I really want to build. Besides, I might build some smaller ones. We kind of want to get chickens or guineas soon, so we may build like a little chicken coop. And I do want to build Blue a dog house at some point. He's still back there. Um, yeah, I do want to build Blue a little dog house, and we'll see if he goes in. And I set him up a dog house before, and he didn't really use it unless it was storming pretty bad. But we'd like to start using the soil to build structures with. So we're gonna get into more like Adobe type builds, which is gonna be really cool with some of the clay. The dam, as I shape it up, some of the clay I'm gonna scrape off the sides because I kind of overbuilt it. I purposely overbuilt it because I wasn't sure how much water, how it would flow. But now that I can see the level, I can kind of shape it more. But the clay on the dam, I'll use that probably to build a little chicken coop with, and that'll be a little tester I can use to test some Adobe type builds, which would be really cool. So I've been looking at little different styles and designs. I really like, in Africa they have, I don't know if you've seen those like African village type peaceful videos that they do, and it's usually no talking and stuff like that. But I love the structures they have on their homesteads. Their homesteads are usually like, they don't use gravel, they use earthen floor or earthen ground, where it's just bare ground but it's flat, and it's pretty nice. I think we could do something similar here. But they also use earthen structures. They build their homes out of the earth, and then they build like their chicken coops, their grain storage, all that stuff can be built out of the earth. And so I'm gonna try that here, using wood and then soil. But we have some pockets like this. This was a clay pocket, and so we have different random spots on the land that's just full of clay. We can harvest the clay and build stuff with it, since we have the excavator, which is part of why I got it, because we can collect materials off of the land. And so we'll collect some sand, some clay, and we already have a lot of hay that we can mix as like a thatch. And I may even put a little manure in it to make it, give it some more aggregate stability, just to make it not crack. And it'll be really cool. We actually want the inside of the house, the walls, when we finish them, we want an Adobe finish type style. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be years of development on this homestead. A lot of people ask when we're gonna finish our house, but it's really never gonna be finished. But eventually we like to have walls, Adobe walls, make it more like a courtyard out here. Some of this will be closed off. The driveway, we want to have 2 gates on the driveway. It's a lot of stuff we want to do, but it's just everything's takes a lot of work, and it takes even more money, and it takes a whole lot of time, and we still have other responsibilities. But yeah, Blue, he might stay near the barn if we had one set up. Which I was gonna set up his doghouse. It'll be next to it, so that he can go in and out. Let's see. Look at the chat. But yeah, we like to have different structures, different buildings. So that'll be the first thing. And the barn is, I don't know when I'll do it because it's gonna take a lot. Even though I use materials from the land, I do want to make the walls earthen walls on the barn, and probably the shop. But the main expense is I'm still gonna probably have to buy the roof, unless I can make some natural roof. I don't know if anybody has any ideas on how to build a roof naturally. I know some other countries, they'll use like thatch and like almost like a hay looking material, but I don't think that'll work here because of the rain. So I'll probably need to buy a metal roof, and of course like the nails and screws and all that stuff. So it's still gonna cost even when you use your own materials. But at least the way I want to build it, you can build things a lot cheaper, but I do want it to last. See, Lisa said, question, how have the sheep been adapting to being so far away from where they formerly from, and does Blue stay out with them at night? So the sheep they've been doing pretty good. At first they were a hassle. Well, at first they were doing good, and I was giving them corn to lead them over there. So that's the hardest part, is getting them over there, because you have to walk all the way down there, and when you're holding the bucket, Abram will try to ram you to get the bucket. Um, but they were doing good at first, leading them out. I was gonna lead them out back there every day and bring them back at night. I was gonna put them in the pen at night, which that still might be, I don't know. Well, we'll see. But that was my original plan, was to lead them out in the day, let them graze, and then we'll bring them back at night and let them stay in the pen at night, and just kind of herd them every day. But then after a couple days, they stopped. They didn't want to go back there. They don't really like it back there as much, I think, or I think they had to get used to it, because it's pretty far, and the animals, it's not as much visibility. The animals are kind of, they get more spooked out there. That's why I'm gonna thin out the trees. But so they wouldn't go back there. They refused to go back there. We had to lock them up for a couple days, but it was really because I ran out of corn, and they weren't coming for the feed that I had, because the grass, I think they'd rather have the grass. So it was a hassle dealing with that. But we had to get some more grain. Once we got some corn, I gave them some of that. They follow really well with the corn. So we got like a sweet feed. It's got corn and different grains in it. It's a mix of all different grains, but they do really good. But we've been leaving them out there because it was such a hassle dealing with them, that we leave them out there now at night. They've been doing pretty good. We were mainly worried about the coyotes, because it's an area where it's a lot of coyotes, and we're really worried about the lambs. But they've been doing good so far. They're making noise just earlier, so I don't know what that was, but they're quiet now. So they've been doing pretty good. We've been checking on them every day. Had to give them some water earlier, but they're doing pretty good. They look really good. It's nice seeing them graze. That's an area they've never grazed before, and so it really needed to be grazed because it was all thick and it was really overgrown. And so we're gonna make some videos on that soon, because it's coming soon. It might even be in the video she's making now. I don't know, but I don't even really see the videos sometimes. I don't even see like what the previous videos was. Sometimes people ask like what was in stuff about the videos. I'll see the comment, but I don't even know. I hadn't seen the video myself yet, so it's like I don't even know what people be talking about sometimes, because we try to film and we don't always get to post it right when we film it. But we'll make some videos on that. It'll be pretty cool seeing it. We're trying to film more of just the daily stuff that happens, and so it's been nice having the cameras we have. We can put cameras on us. It's easier filming. Sometimes I got to get a better mount, though. It's easier putting it on the hat, but like the mount we have, I need a better something to put it on. But it's really nice though. They're managing the cedar area. They're grazing the grass. It's a lot of native grass over there, so it's really different from this area, which I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen already. But the grass, it was really thick, and it was a lot of dormant grass. Like it's not really the healthiest grass, because it was so smothered. Like the grass needs to be grazed. It needs to be cut at some point, and it hadn't really been. It was just so dormant. There was still last year's dormant grass, or previous year's dormant grass, still sitting there, which kind of chokes out the soil, and it holds sometimes too much moisture in some areas. But so the sheep are kind of eating all that residue. They're clearing out the grass, and it's going to grow back thicker to where it's not as bunched up. It's going to be a thicker, nicer cover, hopefully. But they're also managing the trees, and the sumac trees and the brush. And so I'm going to go out there and start cutting some of the cedar trees. And we have a steel we're going to use to start processing our own cedar wood essential oils, and mostly hydrosol. So we're going to make cedar wood hydrosol from the cedar trees. And so that'll all be kind of, I guess, a kind of thing that'll all go together. I'll harvest the cedar logs for building structures. We'll also harvest cedarwood oil on some of the smaller trees that we cut. And I'll probably end up doing a lot of that at the same time, because I'm going to just be managing that area as they clear it, mostly probably through the summer. And I'm going to have to start collecting firewood. Um, but what else? But yeah, so we're gonna leave some cedars. We just don't want it to be so thick. It's really thick over there. The grass, especially all the dormant grass. The reason we want to clear it out is because it's a fire hazard, and cedars are really volatile, so they can pretty much blow up. And it's full of cedar trees and it's full of thick grass. And if our land was to catch on fire, that would be really the only place that would really take off. Um, and we want to harvest the cedar trees anyway and start using them. But I really want to manage that area. It's a really cool area. It just needs a little more care. And so the sheep are really what it needs. And Coco. It'd be nice to get Coco over there at some times, but I don't like putting her in the fence with the sheep. She eats so much grass, and so it's nice just letting her roam. But it'll be nice. It'll be more managed like a savanna, so the trees will be a little more spaced out. We're gonna leave some cedars and probably manage those. The sheep, they kind of rub on the bottom branches, which helps kind of remove the lower limbs, so that if there was a fire, it wouldn't really catch the low understory brush and trees and all that. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, just different building. I said at work, moving fast. LOL. Beverly said I almost missed this live. And she said, "Can you build the logs from the trees on the property?" I said, "Okay." Looking at the chat, I'm older, thinking about a shed to home. Ask the length and width of your shed home. Ours is it's a 12 by 24. So let's see if I can. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a 12 by 24 foot shed, and so yeah, that's the size of it. But I've also added that lean-to is about the same size almost. It's like 11 by 24, just about. Let's see. Yeah, she barely said, "You think Layla will come back someday?" I don't think she will. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if somebody shot her. Because Layla is a predator, and people have cows out here. And I know if I had animals and I seen her messing with my animals, I would shoot her for sure. But I don't know. She could have roamed far away. I don't think she'll come back though, regardless of what may happen. I don't think she will, just because whatever happened, she was going far. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be shocked, but I've always thought about it. Yeah, I don't know. We always missed her though. We miss her, but it's been a lot easier with the animals. Even riding Coco, it was hard practicing riding her because Layla was hard to contain, and she was always messing with her and just making her more nervous. But yeah, Layla was just kind of going crazy. So well, I didn't know that about horses. But yeah, horses, they don't like tight spaces. But yeah, Blue will. We might put him in the barn at times. He might go in there. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. But I can kind of hear the sheep at some times, especially when I'm on that side where the sorghum field we planted. It's kind of somewhat near. Our property is shaped differently. It's kind of shaped more like an L shape almost, so it's not a square or rectangle. So there's certain parts of the property, like by the neighbor's edge, I can kind of hear across our property. So like the sheep could leave that side of the property, go through the neighbors, and cut through back to the house. But yeah, let's see. But I can hear them now. I hear one of them, and I don't know if a lamb. They were making noise before, and the lamb had gotten out. Sometimes the lambs will squeeze out the fence, even though it's electric. But then they won't go back in. When they do that, they'll be whining for their mom, and the mom will be whining. But they could be making noise just because they want some grain or something. I'm not sure, but I'll have to check on them before it gets dark. They say you need a better microphone. Yeah, I don't have a microphone. I'm just using my phone, so you might not be able to hear me too well. If y'all can hear me, yeah, we need to get a microphone. She said, "Do you look around and say, wow, look what we've done in just a year?" Get it closer. Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially just knowing where we came from, everything we dealt with, everything we've been through. We never grew up on a farm, and so we don't have family that farms. Most people doubted us that we could do it, um, but we always knew we could do this. We've always wanted to do this lifestyle, and yeah, it's really cool looking around and seeing like, especially it's hard to really realize it because we've been doing it day by day, but um, looking at the old videos, that's really why we started filming, was documenting our journey. And it's cool, we can go back to day one. We can look at the when we first moved out here, and it looks completely different. Like there was no grass, it was all weeds, it was all brush, and and yeah, it looks a lot different now. It's pretty crazy seeing it. But yeah, just looking around, I mean, I don't know. But it's hard to really notice it because we live out here every day, and then it's just you do things day by day, and so noticing the developments is not always I don't know, it's hard to really notice it. But you do notice the functionality. Things get easier, like setting up a water hose is easier than carrying a water bucket, and so yeah, just all the different things. But it's been a lot we've done. It is crazy seeing it. But it's I mainly noticed it looking at the old videos and seeing what it looked like. It's like we don't even look the same. Said it takes time, sweetie. Even myself working on things. I just bought some land in a home. I want to fix my outdoor yard. I like to be outside in the evenings. You and your lady doing good. Blessed to have. Yeah, it takes time for sure. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's true. I mean, it takes time building. When you're actually doing these things and putting in the work, it takes time, and you know what effort goes into it. But it makes it more rewarding. Building things like it is pretty cool. Like looking at stuff, like being like I built that. So um, I never built anything like that before. I built this pond. I'd never built a pond before. I'd seen people build ponds. We used to plan ponds when I worked for the USDA. We would help cost share farmers to pay for ponds, just like this one. So I'd seen people build ponds. They would hire a contractor usually with a bulldozer and maybe an excavator or something, but or skid steer. And so I'd seen ponds developed out here in Oklahoma. These ponds are somewhat common. Um, it's like a flow-through pond, which is just the water flows through and it catches some of it. But I'd never done anything like this before. Even getting the excavator, I'd never operated heavy equipment before. I don't have family that does that kind of stuff. A lot of my family, they live in the city, so they're not even like, really all my family really lives in the city, so I'm the only one that lives in the country. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool seeing everything. But I don't know, I guess one of my favorite parts is seeing the wildlife benefit from it, like seeing the birds go up to the pond and the turtles and the frogs, and then seeing like the little trenches, the drainage trenches we built, seeing the frogs go into them, and then seeing the plants that come out. I guess I'll show y'all. Might be a little rough looking, but the drainage trench, it functions kind of like a little wetland. So like seeing the vegetation, the native plants, and then this is some clover that was planted. But seeing this, the different stuff that flows and that grows, it's pretty cool because this stuff didn't grow out here before until we started managing the land. And what springs out of the land is all dependent on how you manage it. And so the way we're managing the land, we're managing it not just for ourselves, but for the wildlife, because the wildlife directly benefits us um, in different types of ways. Even like rabbits, even though they're going to be a hassle with the garden, They do benefit the land some. They eat some of the vegetation a little bit, but they add a little manure and organic matter and biology to the soil. But long term, I plan on hunting them, and I'm gonna see if I can feed Blue with the rabbits. We got a decent rabbit population now. They've been eating the hay, old hay, and different stuff. So they've been thriving throughout the winter. We'd see them. They've been thriving. When I cut down brush piles of trees and we leave them, that's a that's like a home for rabbits and other things. But the rabbits, building up the rabbit population, we have a lot of owls that eat rabbits, and so the owl population will increase, and so they'll help with different things, different pests. But we're just trying to build an ecosystem out here, but it's really cool seeing it develop because it wasn't out here before. The way we developed the trenches, the water flows differently now to where the animals can use it. It stores in certain areas better, and certain areas doesn't flood, so the grass can grow better. The plants grow healthier, they're stronger. Um, and pretty much a lot of the areas that I see, I'm starting to see little baby frogs because we raised some tadpoles. And so the tadpoles have grown up, they've graduated, and now they've grown legs and they're hopping around the land. And so that is kind of going to be our pest control, at least help with pest control. Nothing will be guaranteed, but having all these little different things is going to build up the ecosystem that we're building here, that we're managing. Having the flowers that spring up. A lot of people call them weeds, but a lot of them grow flowers, bloom flowers. They're medicinal and they have benefits. They repel pest insects, but they also attract insects that kill the pests. So we try to leave as much of those flowers. They look nice too. I don't know why you would spray them or kill them. Um, but it's cool seeing all these things because before it was all weeds and brush, and the weeds they took over completely to where the soil wasn't getting any light. There was no grass. There was literally like no grass here. There was some random little tiny remnants of a little bit of grass rhizomes and stuff, but it wasn't really nothing out here. That's why we had the sheep. That's another reason we got the sheep. Hear the coyotes. But another reason we got the sheep is they're hair sheep, and so a lot of people think they're goats, but they're hair sheep. So they eat similar to goats. Goats are even better at eating brush, but I didn't want goats because I don't really like goat meat too much. It's real gamey a lot of times, and I feel like the lamb, I like lamb more than goats, but I think it's easier to market lamb than it is to goat because most people don't eat goat, but there's more people that'll eat lamb. But we got this specific breed because they eat similar to goats. They eat the brush, and they manage the land. They manage the property. We had them in an electric fence. We were pretty much having them eat the ragweeds. It was mostly ragweed here and a weed called Cerisa lespedeza, which is a weed. I don't know if y'all can hear them. But Cerisa lespedeza is a weed, or it's considered a weed. It can be beneficial, but it's really invasive in Oklahoma. Um, Back in I think like maybe the 90s or 80s or at some point in time, the USDA used to pay farmers to plant it as like erosion control because farmers were taking their heavy equipment and tearing up the land, and it caused erosion. So USDA paid people, the NRCS, the agency I used to work for, they paid people to plant Cerisa lespedeza, and so now it's grown rampant, and it's considered an invasive species. But it can be pretty good forage for goats and sheep. It's high in protein, and it's a legume, and so it fixes a little bit of nitrogen. But if it grows too much out of control, it gets really brushy and stemmy, and the animals don't like eating it as much. Goats will, but right now at this time of the year, late spring, it's really thick right now. It's also a natural dewormer for animals. So there's benefits, but a lot of people don't like it because it grows so thick and it gets stemmy. And most people in Oklahoma have cows, and the cows need grass. They don't eat brush as much. Um, I don't know, Blue's working somewhere, but yeah. So now there's a lot of Cerisa lespedeza everywhere because people were planting it back in like the 90s. So now it's taking over control. But the USDA, the NRCS, they pay people to remove it now. So they'll pay people to get rid of it because it's invasive, and they want to cover their tracks and not let people know they screwed up. But it's not native here, but it grows well here. But it's a lot of it it was taking over the property, and so that brushy Cerisa lespedeza, it would grow in thick brushes, um, brushy thickets, and so there would be ticks and stuff in it. And so we got the sheep to manage that. They ate that down, and we pretty much just hammered it with the sheep and just pinned them in there with the electric fence. They ate it down, and as they poop, they add manure and organic matter to the ground. Um, so you can really tell the difference it made. And so now we're seeing mushrooms springing up, and different stuff. But they also manage the trees. They eat the lower limbs. They allow the taller limbs to spread out and grow. Um, they do a lot of different things that really help the land. That's why we got them. We don't have a riding lawnmower. We don't have a tractor, and yeah, the sheep is our tractor. They're our lawnmower, and also Coco is really nice, like added diversity. Because when you have two different types of species, like a cow or a mainly cows and horses can work, but mainly like a different something that's more different, like a horse and sheep, or really the best you could probably have is a horse and goats. They help each other because they benefit the same type of worms that a goat will get. The horse can't get that same type of worm, and so when the horse eats the grass, let me try to explain it. The life cycle of a worm is they live in the grass. As the animals graze, they're eating the grass, and the worms' eggs are laid in the manure of the animals. And so when the eggs hatch, the worms go up the grass, and they're more in the lower areas where it's more moist. But as the sheep eat the grass, they're eating worms. Really, all animals. All animals have worms. Humans have worms. Every living animal pretty much has some type of they're microscopic worms, and they're like a parasite. And so you have to manage the parasite load of these animals, and it's all based on how they graze and how they eat. So when they're going around, depending on how they're grazing. So when they eat the grass, they're eating the worms, and but the thing is, when you have multi different species, they all benefit each other. So like the horse, when she eats the grass, she'll eat the worms that came from the sheep's manure. But when the worms that came from the sheep's manure go into the stomach of the horse isn't a host for those type of worms, so they die off in her digestive tract. And it's the same with the sheep. If the sheep eat the same type of worm that the horse eats, they'll kill it off. And so it helps having them graze together because they help manage the worms in the soil. Um, but it's different things we do. That's why we do it, to manage it. That's why it helps having them over there in the cedar area, because it's a fresh area that hasn't been grazed. But just kind of rambling, but yeah, trying to learn too. So watching you on my house TV. Wait, Mason said hi. Hey Mason, if you're still watching. See Cook said, what's up with the whale you found? So yeah, the whale. Um, the water whale. I'm pretty sure it's a shallow whale. There was an old school here, at some point in time, probably early 1900s. I really need to figure out when the school was built, because I don't know. I'll have a good idea when the whale was dug. But it's a shallow whale that was done at the latest, probably like 1950s. It could have been 1800s. I don't know, but it's got concrete and different stuff around it. Got to connect one. forgot to connect my charger. All right, should be charging. But so the well is I'm pretty sure it's a shallow well. I've got to stick something down in there to see how deep it is, and so um, based on looking at where the water level was at, the water, from what I could see, it's at least 15 to 20 feet deep, and so I don't know how tall the water table is. It could be really deep with water, or it could be shallow water. But I'm pretty sure it's a shallow well because when it rained, the water level rose. Um, so if it was a deep well, it wouldn't really be affected by the rain as much. But but so I got to pretty much just figure out. We have a shallow well pump already. We want to put a hand pump on the well long term because it'd be more sustainable. We don't have to worry about technology. Pumps always end up failing at some point, so we want to have a hand pump on that because it's close to the house. And if it's a shallow well, that's one thing with shallow well versus a really deep well. You can't hand pump a 300-foot deep well, I don't think. But a shallow well, you can. The only thing about a shallow well is they might not be as reliable of a water source, especially in the summertime. We'll see if it holds water in the summer. If it does, it's probably going to be pretty reliable for us because we don't really use just that much water, especially the irrigation. We're still going to try to irrigate from the creek, and so depending on how much water it is, it could really help us. It could be a game changer because we could expand our crop fields a lot more if we have more water. That's the main limitation we have is the quantity of water, and then the distribution, getting the water to different fields is another issue. And so but we'll have to see how much water is in there. I'm pretty sure it may be good quality. We have to test the quality of the water. I smelled in there. It didn't smell like, some wells will smell like sulfur or something dead in there, but I didn't smell anything bad. It smelled earthy. It smelled clean. I could see water in there, so I know it's water in there. I just got to pump it out and see how deep it is, and then I'm gonna probably run a test, see how to. I gotta look up to see how to do the right test, but probably just measure the flow rate, gallons per minute, how many gallons is coming out per minute. But I'm gonna see how long it takes for it to refill. If it ends up emptying or whatever, I don't know. We may fill up some. There, it got disconnected, but we may see. We're gonna have to see. But it'll just mainly, I'll just have to run some tests on it and see what kind of water we got in there. And then in the summertime, depending on how dry it gets, we'll get an idea of how reliable it really is, especially during a drought. That's the thing with the shallow wells versus the deeper well. They're usually not as reliable, but I've got a good feeling because there could be a spring. It could be a spring type of a well. I know there's a water table there. I don't know where it's coming from. But that area has always been wet, and it usually stays pretty moist. I think there is a spring over there, which would be nice. And if it is, we'll try to manage it to where we don't overuse it. We want to keep it a good, strong water table. But it'll be interesting. Mainly, we'll try to expand our watermelon fields though, because we'd like to grow a whole lot more watermelon. But the main limitation is water, and so that's going to be really a blessing because it's going to be really nice. And we like the shallow well idea because we can hand pump it if we wanted to, so we're not as dependent on the technology. But yeah, what else? But yeah, so I'm probably test it out though with our shallow well pump. We've got a electrical pump that we use at the creek, and I'll probably just use that piping and stick it in there once I know how deep it is, and we'll see how much water is in there. Let's see the chat. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be a process. But right now we're just planting stuff and using the water we have to irrigate the well. Depending on the quality of the water, we probably use it in our house tanks, and then I don't know. Depending on, I'd like to use a creek for irrigation mostly, but we'll see. The creek will go dry during the summer, most likely. It gets real dry. So I live in East Texas. I have moringa trees. The health benefits are amazing. Yeah, I need to look into it. I know it's good for like your hair and stuff like that, your skin. I know they make like moringa oil, but I don't know I really don't know much about moringa trees, like if they grow fruits on them or what you really do with them. Try not to push the wrong thing. If I push the wrong button, the whole live will like flip out. They say, did you get the high tunnel through USDA? I had a home loan through USDA to buy my home. Yeah, I got the high tunnels completely paid for. So we have two um, 16 by 48 foot high tunnels that I built. But yeah, we got them paid for through the USDA. And so I want to make a video on that soon. But they reimburse the cost of them. We got in a program for that. And that was one thing we used to do through my job with the NRCS was the high tunnel. So that's how I knew about them. And I applied and we ended up getting approved for two of them. Because we're in a food desert, there's different fund pools. And so being in a food desert, you're a lot more likely to get funded because it's a lot more crucial for those areas to have food. And so we'll be growing a lot of different stuff in there. Um, but yeah, we got them completely paid for. I actually made a little money off of them since I built it myself. I built it affordably. You just have to build it according to their standards and specs. So our owl's good for the property. I think they're pretty good. They help with like rodents and different stuff like that. But you really don't see them that often unless like sometimes you'll see them. You'll hear them a lot at night mostly. Sometimes you'll see them, but they're really kind of mysterious. They're quiet when they're flying. They're real quiet. But you hear them at night. Sometimes they'll get loud. But I like the owls. I just like the noise they make. It's really cool. I don't know. I just always like owls, but I do think they help with rodents. They help with really the rabbits. We don't want too many rabbits, so we're gonna start hunting them. There's a lot of them. They're getting fat. I see one right over there. There's a few of them that live over there. They've been watching the watermelon, so we'll have to watch them. But they'll probably be a food source, mostly for Blue. We'll probably use them for Blue, mix them with dog food or something if you'll eat them. Um, they said Harley said, "How do you guys handle mice?" It just depends. Like with the vehicles, we had mice get in the vehicles mainly because we kept feed in there, and then just when the vehicles are sitting for a while, we're not using them. Mice will start trying to make homes in it, but mainly just trying to clean up around the place. Mice isn't really just that much of an issue. Um, as long as the main thing is wherever the feed is, you might have mice trying to get into it if you got like grains and stuff. So like keeping the feed off the ground to where they can get into it. We had some get into our seeds, some sunflower seeds that we had, and so mainly keeping it off the ground is the main thing, and then just keeping piles of stuff from just being too much stuff. But yeah, I don't know. We thought about getting a cat or something, but I don't know how well they are. But that's one thing owls could probably help with. They're really good hunters, so I don't know if they can, how small of a mouse they can catch. But let's see. Said permaculture is a great thing, man. Barn cats are the best thing for mice. Yeah, we'll try. I don't know. Nate's been wanting to get a cat. I don't know. We might need to get a cat. I don't know how Blue's gonna react. The only thing about cats is or one thing about cats is uh they're babies. They reproduce a lot. There'll be a lot of if they end up getting pregnant or something. But now we might end up getting a barn cat eventually. I bet it would help with stuff. So I run a regenerative farm in Waller, Texas. 2 barn cats will handle your problem, especially if you don't want to use chemicals and poisons. Yeah, we'll probably have to try it. What kind of cats do you have? Like what? I guess this is a specific breed. Uh, Barn cats is scary, but now we might need to get something like that. Let's see. Yeah, so he said, thank you. Do you keep the barn cats outside? I see he said, hey, Zane in chat. But hey, everybody that's watching. I see we got 89 people watching. Appreciate y'all for watching, tuning in with us. I don't know if y'all have any questions about us. We live off grid on 30 acres out here. The channel is Zane A. If you've never seen it before. We've been living out here for about a year and a half. But yeah, hand pump is good. We definitely want to get one. They're not really cheap, but it'll be worth it. Yeah, remember to hit the like button. Said, come on, hit the like button. Don't forget, let's pump them up. Hype the video. Like it if you enjoy watching. I see we got 88 people. We got 76 likes. But let's see. The chat disappeared, so I have to click on it. Okay, yeah. Stony Television is tuned in. Say howdy, y'all. Yeah, what's up? The weather's feeling real nice now. So maybe get a windmill to pump it. That's how much. I'm not sure I'm reading it right. That's how much that was, right? I'm not sure if I caught the second part. But yeah, windmill. We might could try it. We've got some solar panels. But we got a couple. Some of them are a little damaged, but we got one that I might use actually. I didn't think about. I was gonna set up a little charging type thing with that panel, but I could probably connect a battery to the pump. If I got a 12-volt pump. Let's see. Michelle tuning in. Say hi, Zane A. Appreciate everybody for watching this evening. But I ought to try a windmill. I mean, looking at the windmills. I don't know if the windmills are as efficient as the solar, but it might be in the trees. But we'll have to see. Yeah, so yes, definitely keep them outside. We leave a small crack in our barn so they have somewhere to hide from large predators. So do you feed the barn cats, or they just like? That's another thing. Like, I don't know if I'd want them if I had to feed them, but I don't think people feed them. I don't know if you feed them a little bit or if they just mainly just survive off hunting. Because it would be pretty nice. But rodents isn't really that big of an issue. It mainly was an issue in the vehicles because we were storing feed in there while it was raining. And while the vehicle was sitting, it had corn in it. And so the mice got in there and they set up a nest in the engine, in the filter. And so we realized they were in there, but once we got them out, I don't think they've really been in there now. We try to keep the vehicles moving consistently. We have 2 cars, so it's like we have to go kind of alternate sometimes. Then we sprayed some peppermint repellent type stuff. Peppermint rodent repellent. And so, but other than that, it's really not really big of an issue. I'm sure they're out here around, but you don't really see them unless there might be like in a brush pile or in different piles and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I want to look into that program. We have 16 acres. They should have it, I think, in like every state. But it's called EQIP, EQIP. It's an acronym. It's called the Equality. I can't even think right now. It's been so long. It's the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, but they call it EQIP. But it's EQIP. I don't know if y'all can hear the owl now. But it's a program called EQIP, and it's under the NRCS. And if you look that up, it'll pop up. Or you can just type in High Tunnel Initiative, and it'll probably pop up, depending on the state. I know it's pretty common in Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure they do it in every state. Pretty much just about. It might be a little different in some states than others, but through that program, you can get paid um, to build the high tunnels. And so, like, you have to apply, you submit your application, you have a garden and stuff like that. And so, the high tunnels is to help your plants that you currently have. And once you submit your application, it's kind of a long process dealing with USDA. It's just a they're getting faster with stuff, but it's still a process, and you have to get approved for it. But once you get approved, um, you pretty much are just set to go. Once your contract is active, you'll get into an active contract. And I used to write contracts for the USDA, um, and I used to do this in over we covered Creek County, Oklahoma, and which is not far from here. Um, so I managed that office up there, and so I used to write contracts for the farmers in that area, farmers, ranchers, private landowners, and one thing is I really like doing was the high tunnels. It's an easy contract usually, and it's more small scale urban type people. People that do a little more interesting stuff I like doing because I really like the high tunnels. A lot of farmers, most of the farmers we dealt with are just cattle farmers. They have a cow calf operation, and it gets repetitive. The stuff that they do, it's just typically they do brush management or whatever. There's different things you can do through that program. So it's called EQIP. It's an environmental quality incentives program. So it's an incentive for you to improve the environmental quality. So you're improving the environment, and they pay you as an incentive to do that. And there's different things, like the high tunnels is one. Another thing is like cedar trees. They can pay you to remove cedar trees. Just like I was talking about, Sericea lespedeza is a invasive weed that they'll pay you to remove it. And there's different ways you can do it. You can spray chemicals. They'll pay you to do that, which I wouldn't suggest. But you can also remove it with livestock like we're doing, and they can pay you to do that. We're not in that contract because I didn't want to deal with the specifics in a contract. But we did get in the contract for the high tunnels, and so there's a lot of different programs. There's a lot of different, they call them practices under that program. And yeah. I don't know if you have any questions on that, but yeah, we used to write contracts for that program. It's the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, EQIP. There's several different programs under NRCS we used to write contracts for, but the main ones is EQIP, it's EQIP, and then there's another one called CSP. They have a lot of acronyms, and it's CSP, which is the Conservation Stewardship Program. And really, that one was really like an incentive because people were getting a minimum of, I think, I can't remember, $4,000 minimum payment every year. Through the CSP program, you can get paid. A lot of people are getting paid. But a lot of people don't apply to these programs. A lot of people don't want to deal with USDA. They don't want to deal with the government, and they don't realize they're paying taxes anyway. And through these programs, you get some of that benefit back of what you're paying through taxes. But some people will refuse to do it, and so other people will get that benefit if you don't. But there's set fund pools, and it's a little different now since I left, but there's a lot of funds for different stuff. But yeah, so I'm looking to purchase more property, just waiting for location of these data centers were not to purchase. Yeah, it's crazy with that. Yeah, I don't even know how you decide where the data centers are going to be at. It seems like they put them in the worst areas. You said, are they inside your house bad, like pooping everywhere? If you're talking about the rodents, we don't have any rodents in our house. It's just in areas like if you have a barn where you keep feed and stuff. Solar panels would be better than windmill. Yeah, I think solar panels would be better. Windmill would be nice if we had consistent wind, but even like now, the wind stopped. So I might even thought about lighting a bonfire. Not really a bonfire, but I need to burn this brush that's over here before it gets dry. And the ground is wet right now. It'd be good to do it. It was windy earlier, but So barn cats or cats are good for not only mice but snakes too. They will definitely hunt and keep snakes away. Yeah, I didn't think about that either. The snakes, depending on what they are. So I thought about having tables in your high tunnels to place your trays on. Probably not, just because we're gonna be taking those out soon, and we're gonna be tilling up the ground. We're gonna plant everything in the ground in the high tunnels, the stuff that's gonna be in there. So like the basil, once the hibiscus sprouts up, we're gonna put that in there. And both of them will have stuff planted in the ground. So it's really technically supposed to be stuff planted in the ground, and so that's really what we meant to been doing. We meant to been got stuff in the ground, but we got to get all our other plants out that we're still starting seeds, so we're using it. We just been using it to contain all our seeds that we plant. Uh, but yeah, some of them though, like the watermelon, I put up on different stuff, but I was putting some stuff on it. We had a table I put some things on, but it'll get real windy randomly, and I had a whole packet of cayenne pepper seeds. I don't know what happened to it. It was like a big old 4-ounce bag of pepper seeds that disappeared, and then I've lost a lot of plants that have just I planted them and sat them on a table, and then the table got blown over by the winds. We had the storm winds blowing through. Storm season is kind of passing now, um, but we've had a lot of winds that blow through, and they'll knock everything over. And I planted some tobacco seeds, and they're kind of more fragile, and so like it all got blown away. But it may end up sprouting in the hot tunnel. I don't know, but I've been kind of hesitant on putting it high up because we're just trying to start the seeds, and then once we move everything out, like the watermelon is starting to sprout today, and so I'm gonna till up some more of these rows back here, and then we're probably gonna try to expand up there and plant a lot more watermelon. Um, all that stuff will be outside the high tunnels, but we're gonna try to put the shade cloth on the high tunnels and make it more of a, I don't know what the word is, just an environment that's more protective for more delicate type plants that can't really grow that well outside, or they can grow well outside, but they'll do better in the high tunnels. And so that's what we're gonna put in there. We're gonna put them in the ground, like the calendula, most likely will be in there. Basil, a lot of our herbs, hibiscus, and we may put a few. So we're gonna put some vegetable crops in there. We're gonna put some tomatoes, maybe some. I don't know. We might. I don't know if we'll do peppers or not. We might put some peppers in there. We don't have as many peppers. We mainly have sweet peppers because some of them got messed up. But yeah, but yeah, the trays. Hopefully, pretty soon we won't really be using the trays. If we get everything planted. And so I just planted some peanuts. So I don't know. I might have to put those somewhere because if stuff ends up getting in the peanuts, that's gonna suck. Um, but let's see. It says Amazon sells peppermint oil. Yeah, we have some peppermint oil um, that we use. See, daughter of the Most High say, "Hey, family, hey, what's up?" Say it'd be a good idea to get 2 cats, barn cats, but Blue may not like the cats. Is the only problem. Yeah, I don't want to add any animals right now. We're trying to manage what we have now and start building more infrastructure. Um, we may add some cats eventually, but it's not really an issue out here, right, really. Um, we've been having an armadillo come around the house at night or near the hay piles. He's been eating the mushrooms and stuff. And I didn't think it was an issue, but then I seen he went out. It may be the same one, I'm guessing. It looked like probably an armadillo. Something was digging around the sunflower plants over there because there's still some sunflower seeds in the ground, and so the animals will like dig up the seeds. And I don't know what it was, but the way the armadillo digs, and he makes a little bunch of little holes, and it looked the same. It looked like somebody had tilled up the rows, but I'm guessing it may be that same armadillo. So I don't know. We might have to take him out. But we'll see. Everything trying to get the garden. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We thought about getting cats. Nay wants to get some cats, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know if I want a cat. I don't know. I'm just not really a cat person. But yeah, said where's Nay? Nay's. I think she's working on a video. Um, Beverly said I'm a regular homeowner in Chicago. He said I've been watching. I see somebody named Tiger said I've been watching for a while, but I don't comment much. Stay focused, bro. We appreciate it. Um, said from Central. Marcus said hey from Central Texas. I don't know if anybody has any other questions. So have you thought about getting a trail camera? Yeah, I thought about getting one. But they're not really too cheap. There's some cheaper ones, but I wanted to get a nicer one. I had to figure out how to set it up, but I do want to get one eventually. But I just haven't spent the money on it. But a trail camera would be nice because it's all kind of stuff that moves throughout the property. Um, I would probably put it back in the trees, and so I would need something, some kind of way. I don't know how exactly they work. They need like some of them you use different stuff to connect to them. It'd be nice to have one. Yeah, I got disconnected, but it'd be nice to have a trail camera. Um, it'd be nice to have one I could connect to, if it'd be possible. I don't know if it'd be possible in our trees, not having cellular data, but it would be nice to be able to connect to it from my phone, so I can see it live feed. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. But I'm thinking about burning this pile of brush over here. Um, but yeah, sun is starting to go down now. So what are you drinking? I was drinking some coffee. See, I drink coffee late. So I had some cutthroat cats, feral cats from the animal shelter. I didn't leave them in my shed long enough to get used to the location, so they ran off in the sunset. Yeah. Another thing is I didn't want our cats to be like all on the neighbors, which they probably wouldn't mind it. But I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know how a cat would really um, fit in. But I know Nate wants to get one. We might get one eventually. But I don't know. And then I don't know how Blue's gonna do. He might end up. I don't know. I don't really know how he would react. He'd probably be okay with it. He had to get used to it, but I don't know. We really want to. I don't know. I probably want to get another dog first. Um, and then the cats. I don't know if you got to feed the barn cats or if they just can survive wild. But but yeah. So there's solar trail cameras that have its own cellular data plan. Yeah, I think you might have to pay monthly or something like that. Um, I'm not sure how those work. I don't really know how trail cameras really work. Um, but yeah, we'd probably have to get one. You put, I don't know, I know you put like batteries or something and you just record. But it'd be cool to get live feed, but I don't know. Oh yeah, monthly or yearly. So it depends on how much it costs. I mean, we might eventually do it. Um, but everything costs, so like we'd have to prioritize. Basically, you can also feed the barn cats rabbits. You gotta feed Blue, and then they'll hunt for their other protein. Yeah, it'd be nice to feed them. I could feed them rabbits too. Um, see, I forget they eat the same stuff. But but yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah, I see Coco over there. But yeah, so they'll hunt for their keep. That's a good thing about buying cats for outdoor cats. Yeah, I know they could. I think they would be pretty good hunters. So we might look into it. They might even hunt the rabbits. Actually, I don't know. We might actually. I don't know. They could be pretty good for the rabbits. I think the main issue now it's probably gonna end up being the rabbits. They haven't been eating stuff that much yet, but I've been noticing them. I think nibbling on stuff. I think it's been the rabbits nibbling on some plants. Something ate our watermelon sprouts, so the ones I had to plant new ones, and I had to put them up higher up um, to keep them from whatever it was. So I don't know if it was rabbits or mice or what it might have been. Um, Shockingly, we don't really see that many squirrels. So I don't know if it was. I don't think it would have been squirrels, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You say, how's your wrist? It's getting better each day. I've been kind of working it, but it's just, I don't know. It's healing, but I just kind of work it each day. Try to rest. I try not to work it too hard, but I have to do stuff because it's my right hand. But yeah, hang on one second. Seeing what Nate was doing over there eating. But yeah, so does Blue sleep with the sheep out back at night? Now he's been staying over here. We thought about trying to put him over there, but I don't know. It's nice having him around here at night because he barks at stuff. But the sheep, he doesn't really go back there that much, so the sheep kind of been on their own. So we've been worried about them at night. We check on them usually in the morning. Um, but they're in the electric fence, and so the electric fence has been, I guess it's been working good. I don't know. We'll see. Um, I'm not sure if I'm gonna check on them tonight or not. Um, I'm not sure, but he hasn't really. I don't think he's been going out there. He could be. I don't know, but I haven't seen him out there. He's mainly out here at night. So that's why I would want to get another dog eventually that we can probably kind of keep with the sheep, or something. I'm not sure yet though. But I do definitely want to get another dog that we can breed with Blue. Somebody said rabbits are a huge problem for me. They said think about an electric fence. Use copper around ceilings. Yeah, another rabbits are gonna be trying to eat. I've been mainly worried about the corn. Shockingly, stuff hasn't been eating the corn too much. But yeah, I didn't know like the watermelons if they'll try to eat the watermelon leaf or if they're gonna try to eat them as they mature. Like when we had chickens around our watermelon plants, and they shockingly didn't mess with them until the watermelon started growing flowers. Once it started flowering, the chickens started going crazy eating it. So I don't know why, if it tastes different or they were eating the flowers and then they started pecking the I guess the vines and all that. So, but I'm gonna start hunting the rabbits, so we'll utilize them. I want to start skinning the pelts, make something out of the pelts. See if we can make something. But I'll use the meat for Blue because I don't eat rabbit meat. So um, I'll see if I can give it to Blue. He'll probably eat it. And so that way we'll be able to utilize them. It's going to be sad. It's going to be hard. I like seeing them, but I know they're going to attack our garden. And so it would be nice to utilize them for something. But they're getting fat out here right now. So I've been kind of just letting them thrive right now. But the population is getting bigger, so they're gonna probably start breeding soon for more and more. So have you thought about planting coffee beans? I think I thought about it, but I don't think it grows here really. I think needs more of a tropical, warmer climate. But yeah, he has a large territory to guard. Yeah, he mostly guards around the house. Um, we'd have to get him used to going to the cedar area because we're not always back there as often. So I don't think he really goes back there as much. Um, but the sheep, they're pretty good at being quiet and hidden in the trees. I think it helps some. I don't know if coyotes know they're back there. They probably do. Um, but yeah, shocking. We haven't had any issues yet. We've been trying to waiting to see. We might be dealing with that, but we'll see. But right now, the electric fence is working, and so I'm hoping it just deters them and keeps from getting in there, as long as it's working. But my main fear is one of the lambs getting out. Sometimes they'll hop out or squeeze out, and so they'll be the most vulnerable if there's a lamb out at night or something. And yeah, I didn't know if one got out earlier, but the lambs are all getting bigger to where they're not as vulnerable now. Especially the rams, they're getting a lot bigger, so it's a little bit harder. That's why I wanted them to kind of grow up a little bit before we move them back there, because it's more dangerous over there. I know coyotes travel through there. They have more cover to hide, and I just know they're back there. You see signs of them and different stuff. So that's another reason I'm gonna open the area. I'm gonna thin it out more so that the coyotes won't have as many hiding spots, and so the sheep can see better. Hopefully, the animals won't be as scared because it's really thick in some areas. You can't really see. It's less visibility. Um, but yeah. Yeah, Blue, he has a large territory. It's a lot of property for just one. He can't guard. He would rather be here guarding because this is where like the homestead area. And I don't even know if he's. We meant to show him. I don't even know if he knows the sheep are back there because he didn't really see us move them. So I don't even know if he really knows they're over there. He might would go over there if he knew they were back there. But he has a large area. That's why we do want to get another dog because it'll be nice having two that can work together. They work together. But our neighbor's dog, he kind of works with our neighbor's dog, which is his son, Little Blue. His name is Leo now, or Leo. Um, and so they sometimes he'll come over here and they play and stuff. But they kind of work together. So like if he hears him, that's where he ran now. I'm pretty sure he's up there somewhere. But he'll hear him barking at something and he'll run over there to see what's going on because our properties are connected where our houses are at, and he knows this is where we live and everything is here, so he's usually protecting over here. If he were to run all the way to the cedar area to try to protect, coyotes are smart enough to lure you away, and then other coyotes can come through, and Blue is smart enough to stay at his post, and so his post is really here. Um, it'd be nice to have another dog that could stay with the sheep, but I would want them to be able to bond with Blue too. And we probably breed them. We want to get probably another Pyrenees, or we may look into Little Blue might have had some puppies. We might see. I meant to talk with them actually. We may be getting a dog if they end up. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we've seen some puppies. I don't know if Leo had puppies or what, but there's a little pack of puppies over there. They chased Coco the other day, um, but they look kind of like Leo and Blue, so we need to talk to them and see what they're doing with them. Um, but yeah, it would be a lot for him to try to go to the cedar area, and the coyotes could lead him out there and come over here if the sheep were over here. But yeah, I don't think he'll really go out there because it just he would be leaving this site vulnerable. Um, so I got squirrel problem back. Shockingly, I don't really. I'm trying to think if I know squirrels out here, but you don't really see too many squirrels. Um, Out here, we don't have too many squirrels. Shockingly, and now thinking about it, it's crazy. Um, but I don't know. I know some. Say goodnight. Lisa, say goodnight. Tell Nay we missed her. She might can hear me. He said, but we know she's busy. Have a blessed evening, everyone on this live. Yeah, we appreciate you for watching, tuning in. He said, sorry I'm late, Miss Shelly. Said, sorry I'm late to the video. Said, have you thought about getting the solar lights on the tall pole to light up the yard at night? I don't know. We don't really want to light it up at night because it would make us like a vulnerable. It gets really dark at night, so like we don't want to light up our house because then it just kind of makes us like a sitting duck or something. I don't know. I don't like it being too bright, but we do have some spotlights that we're once we complete the wiring in the house, it'll be a spotlight on the house, and they'll be pretty bright spotlights. We can use the light switch to flick on and off, and I'd like that better versus the solar lights that's always on at night, because at night it's so dark we can see people. If they were to pull in, you can see somebody. They're not going to be able to see us, and so we can see them way before they pull in the driveway, which is important to us. We have more visibility at night than they do, and so we'd see them coming and they wouldn't be able to see us coming. And that's how we like it out here, especially at nighttime. Your eyes adjust, especially around this time. I think it's a full moon tonight, and when it's a full moon, it's really bright, and it's pretty cool. The stars and the moon really light it up at nighttime. But we'll put some spotlights that we can turn on and off, so we can, when we're out here, we can turn it on. But we don't want anybody driving by to see bright lights, and a lot of people don't even know we're back here. So we don't want to have lights lit up. Most houses out here aren't really lit up at night. Some people might have a light on their gate or something, but we like, if somebody pulls in with a car, their car is going to have lights on, and if it doesn't, they're not going to know where they're driving. But those lights are so bright in the dark, we'll be able to see them really easily. But it's harder for them to see the house back here without the lights. Says squirrels hate hot sauce. Yeah, I never thought about that. I never heard of that, but I bet I can see that. We said, yep, so dark in the country, especially, yeah, when the moon isn't shining, and different stuff. But you kind of get used to it. Like when I tilled up the sorghum rows, I did that at nighttime in the middle of the night, but it was a pretty bright. The moon has been pretty bright, but it wasn't even a full moon. So some nights you can see decently. Your eyes adjust, but yeah, it gets dark. Like sometimes it's pitch black out here. You know, that's something you gotta get used to moving out in the country. It's like, which we kind of got used to it at our rent house, because our rent house was in the country, about 15 minutes from here. So that's when we got used to how dark it got. Really dark out there. But of course, the house had like a porch light, but away from the light, it's dark. But it says beautiful. When so when you guys gonna start on the driveway? Probably when we have an extra $3,000, something like that, which wouldn't be anytime soon. So we'll probably work on the driveway whenever we get to it, but it's not really priority because it's pretty smooth right now. We would just need to add gravel to it, and that would pretty much complete it. I'm gonna use the mulch fabric we have and stake that down. We're gonna make a 2-track driveway, and so it's just gonna be 2 tracks, 2 lanes to be more cost effective. It won't take as much gravel, but gravel's not cheap. You gotta pay people to haul it. We're gonna need several tons of it, and diesel's not cheap, so I'm sure they're probably charging even more to haul right now because of the gas prices are high. So right now it's not something we want to spend money on, because we can drive in and out pretty easily, and we can work on it. If we get any dips or anything, I can use the excavator to shape it up, so it's not really an issue. I know a lot of people don't like our driveways, a dirt driveway, but that's how everybody, I mean, pretty much everybody out here, they have dirt driveway. Our roads are dirt roads, so we're pretty used to it. We like our driveway how it is, really. Um, but we will shape up some different things. I'll probably edge it a little bit, kind of shape it up some, and work on it that way. But I do want to shape it up a little more over time, but it probably won't be anytime soon we really finish it. Um, it's nice we're able to just get in and out. That was our main priority, was making sure the driveway drains. So it drains now. It was flooding in that area. And so that's part of where that shallow well is at, is the area that gets wet. So that's why I think it's a spring. Um, but you see the mosquitoes coming now. So the mosquitoes are more, I guess, in the evening. So it's beautiful watching the sky in pure darkness. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Especially the stars. It's cloudy right now. I'm hoping we get some more rain in a few days, but I haven't seen the dipper. Have you seen the dipper yet? Or I don't know. We could have seen it. I don't really know what it looks like. I know they say it looks like a pot or whatever, but I don't really know how to recognize them. And so we have to learn more about the stars and stuff. I see Michael Alexander said, I've been following you and Nay for about a year. I absolutely love watching you on your journey. We appreciate you watching and following us. It's pretty cool sharing it and showing that it's possible. What you can do. Just two people out here. I don't know if y'all hear the coyotes. I might I don't know. I might have to go check on the sheep just to make sure they're all in there. But before it gets too dark. But we appreciate y'all for watching. We've been getting a lot of support. We appreciate everybody who's been supporting us throughout the journey. We've gotten a lot of support. It wouldn't be, a lot of what we have wouldn't be possible without some of the support we've got. We've got people that's bought a lot of stuff on our wish list and different stuff. But yeah, appreciate. I hear Leo barking. They said, what happened to the well you found? Yeah, I explained it earlier. Pretty much we'll just have to pump the water out and see. Pretty much find out, once we get stuff, everything, the garden and everything planted. We're trying to utilize the pond irrigation before that goes dry, before it evaporates. So we'll be dealing mostly with the water we have. And I'll mostly probably deal with the well in probably later in June, sometime late June, if not July. We'll see more so about the well. It just depends on how much water we have. Right now we're using the water that we have on the surface level of the land, and the well can be more of like a reserve for when it gets dry, because the creek won't have as much water in it when it's dry. Let's see. They said my driveway is a dirt driveway, not complaining at all. Yeah, most people out here, at least in the country, or a lot of people out here have dirt driveways. It's pretty common. A lot of people in the city don't realize that because you're used to driving on paved roads. We were used to driving on paved roads. And so you got to get used to driving on dirt roads. But we like our driveway. It's pretty cool. I like it. And I like that I did it myself. It's pretty cool. But I'm gonna. They say you got too many projects. Yeah, we got too much stuff going on. So good night. May the Lord bless you. See, Lois said that makes perfect sense to not bring attention to yourself. Yeah, people looking, people driving by, and if they see lights, it's gonna attract. People are gonna be like, something's back there, and we don't. Most people drive around and they're not looking through the trees. They don't even know there's anything. If you see these trees, you can't see nothing through here. Like over there's a road, you can't see it. And then we have a road that goes along the other end of the property. Flip the camera. But that end of the property, it's a road all along our property up there. You can't tell. But if there's lights, people will see the lights. So people be wondering. Um, Before it gets too dark, I think I'm gonna go look at the sheep, just make sure they're all in there. I see say hello, love what y'all are doing. It's very inspiring. God bless y'all on your journey. Said too many paths for my driveway. Oh, I make many paths for my driveway. Yeah, yeah. When it's raining, you gotta sometimes you gotta not run over the same spot. Yeah. Let me go check on them real quick. I'll be right back. Um, I'm gonna go check on them before it gets dark, just to make. I meant to check on them. Just to make sure they're in there, because they was making noise earlier. So y'all get to see me ride down there. But I'll be right back. I'll be a few minutes. So what's nice about this bike is it has a light on it. Because it gets pretty dark in the trees. I'm trying to think. I guess not. One of these bikes has a horn. I can't remember. I guess it must be the other one. But I'm going to go check on the sheep. I'll be right back. See if they're alright. I don't know if... I better go check on the sheep. What? You want to come or not? You want to come? Yeah. Guess Nay's gonna come. And Nay's gonna come. We're gonna look at the sheep. See what they're doing. You hear the frogs? They get pretty active at night. It gets kind of loud at night. But it's like different noises. Sometimes you hear owls. Sometimes you hear mostly frogs. Because some nights the owls don't make no noise. But some nights they're like really loud. You hear a lot of them. And the type of owl we have, I can't remember what they're called, but they make it's a crazy noise they make. They sound crazy. But I like it. It sounds cool. But it almost sounds like a monkey, really. I'm trying to think. Oh, you're riding on the bike. I forget two people can ride on this bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be right back. And they popped in.
Hey guys.
But yeah, I'm gonna go check on them. It's getting dark, so.
Oh dang. Stepped on me too.
Yeah.
I want to drink coffee.
Yeah, the bike looks cool with the light, so hopefully it don't die on us. So we'll be back in maybe a few minutes. We're just gonna look at them and come back. Guess I can't ride too fast. I see us fall over.
Yeah, please don't.
The sheep, they're all right. Blue man, I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, let's see. I thought about burning that brush over there, but I don't know if I want to do it now. I don't know. I could. Yeah, we're back. Take us off the charger. But yeah, it's getting dark. It's darker on camera than it really is.
Yeah.
Um, let's see who's still on. They said I'm in listening mode now. Beverly said hi, Nay. DoorDash said beautiful sky. Lois said hi, Nay. Yeah, they was asking where Nay was at.
Hi guys. Yeah, I was in the house editing a video. Ah, he's flying.
Making a video for y'all.
Oh, there's Blue.
There you go, Blue. He ran up here early. He was barking at something over there.
Oh, there's Coco.
Yeah, Coco making her way back. Now the sheep, they seemed like they were doing pretty good. They were whining. They wanted some grain. They've been getting used to getting grain. But I didn't feed them today. So hopefully they'll be all right. They're making noise, but they got quiet now, I think.
Yeah.
They're smart enough to be quiet and not attract coyotes. But we'll see. It may help that they're always moving too. You said, Lois said, Nay, what projects have you been working on lately?
Oh, shoot, I don't know. Mostly just been planting and making products, and that's really it.
Yeah. Which I forgot about these seeds.
Yeah, it's so much we have to plant.
Yeah.
Takes up all our day.
That and moving sheep. We're gonna have to probably move them tomorrow.
You said tomorrow?
But maybe not tomorrow. I guess maybe day
Yeah,
after tomorrow.
I said a day after tomorrow.
Yeah. I forgot it was a good amount of grass in there.
Yeah.
You feel that?
That's a lot.
Feel like a raindrop.
It looks like, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna rain, but the clouds are kind of thick.
Yeah, you can see some clouds. They were blowing in fast, but hopefully it's supposed to be a low chance in the next, I think, about a week or something.
Yeah, it's Saturday towards the end of next week. Pretty sure it's a rain.
Yeah. But yeah, probably get something to eat. Probably end the live here.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody for watching, tuning in today. I might try to do a live tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta get some stuff done. But we'll see. Appreciate everybody for watching, liking, supporting, and following our journey. Until next time.
Dang, they can't even see us.
Yeah, you can't see nothing, so I'm like.
They can see the house. Y'all see the house?
Unless I burn that brush pile, so they ain't gonna be able to see nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna burn that yet.
Yeah, we eventually do want to get house lights.
But yeah.
Because that would be nice to have.
Bad baby shit, thanks for sharing. Yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Appreciate y'all.